Hello everyone. For today I want to work on props and tables, chairs and everything that I have in the level already, but I would like to change just the material for some of them. So just to introduce a bit of variation, because I have most of them have exactly the same color. For example, here you have the same for all of them. For example, this. So all of them are like that, but I would like to, for example, this one change to something different. Sorry, or things like that. So I will have like different of them, or for example also this one that I would like to introduce another material here. So just reusing the same as you can see, just reusing the same mess. So I'm just keeping all the loads and distance and everything, just changing the material for the instant in the level. I will have few variations, and I think I was just using all of them with exactly the same colors, materials, and for example this one also I was using, and I would like to just change to another good material. I think I have already even things like that, which is not so good. Well, you can see that you can introduce a few of them, or for example this one here. I can also change the material for them. So just to introduce a few variations on the same props that I'm using in the level, and I will just try to identify some of them and that's changing the material to have a few different colors. I will also use them to fill some houses, because most of them are completely empty. This is not part of the gameplay at the moment, so you cannot go inside, all of them are closed, but I should just slowly being completing all of them, just putting a lot of new items and just some furniture inside. As you can see, they are completely empty. For example, this house, because this is closed and you cannot go there. So first I will just change some of them from the market, and maybe adding a few more to have a few different variations, and after that I will just put some furniture inside of the houses. Let me reorganize a bit the things here. So that's the market. Yeah, I have a lot of things here. We'll just check later. This one needs to go to the church. Hello world streaming. Just to introduce, yeah, well, I'm using two of them and not one. I know that this is two draw calls, but the thing is I'm using this material, for example, for good here. This is just material that I'm reusing in the level all the time, so it's like an instant of this only single material and texture. So with the same texture here that I'm using, let me just try to open this, and this is just generic tile label good. So I'm reusing in my here in the level, I'm reusing this same material and not creating a new one for every single item that I have. And for example, I'm using the same, for example, good here, so this one is exactly the same like this, and well, all of them are the same. So just to do something faster and having enough resolution and not having so big, this is one key only, so I'm just reusing all of them. This is of course the problem with more draw calls, but in case of, for example, I'm just merging all of them, for example, let's say that those four things I'm just merging in only one single mesh, they will have all of them, in that case, 3 materials, and I could just merge hundreds of them, having like 3 materials for all of them. So that's why I'm using this way for reusing the texture and the material, and in the end it's ending like that, like something so small that Devblog have 2 materials and not only one, that I could just bake all of them in only one single texture. But in that case I will have a lot of different textures and I have only 3 of them, and then reuse. This is also helping with how do you see the level, so all of them are more or less the same color with the same textures, so it's not like any other thing is just being completely different, so it looks nicer all together because they are almost the same all the time. But yeah, that is advantage, and also there are cons like that you have more draw calls. But choosing between kind of, let's say, performance, but I can just improve later. The thing is so fast texturing, because it's just choosing which one, and you don't really need to create a new texture for any of them, or texturing, unwrapping, or anything like that. So that's something much faster, and the only thing that I need to do is just unwrapping on the same direction of the texture, and that's all. So I'm not taking more time on it. And about the size, that's why I'm using, for example, here, as you can see, this good 1, 2, 4, 10, 20. They're just instance with a parameter, so I can just change the resolution of the texture just choosing which instance, so which means the same shader, same texture, but with more definition and resolution. And I'm using all of them, for example, here with the plaster that I'm using, the wood, for example, and that's changing the size of them. So here, for example, you see this is a blueprint, but you can see that I have a lot of materials for one house, which is fine, but as you can see they're using exactly the same. So this is the same texture here, the wood and stone touch, and then there's another wood, different one, and different size. For this one should be the same one. If they are using exactly the same, well, probably because I was just planning to have different things and should just merge. But yeah, as you can see, and also there have some of them are world space. So for example, for the plaster, I'm just using world space, and I don't need to take care about the UV, and I have enough resolution, and doesn't matter how big the house is or the thing. So using this world space, for example, the soil, or I don't know, some of them using world space, it's just adjusting to the world space. So I have good resolution for and this one, for example, is also, as you can see, is one key also, style label, and that's all. So this is so fast texturing or just painting, and you have enough resolution. So the only thing that I'm doing, for example, for this house, to have kind of variation, this is a blueprint, and I'm adding a lot of decals. So if I'm just hiding the decals, where's the decals? you can see that all the details are on decals and not really on the texture, so just generic texture for all of them, and all the houses and everything are exactly the same. So they reuse all the texture and materials and shaders, and the only thing is adding decals for them. So that's why I'm introducing kind of variation, but it's just decals. The textures are the same for everything, the same. So that was my idea, reusing the material, shader and texture, using less textures, and this is faster developing and texturing instead of taking one single of them. Because I was, for example, trying this substance painter, which is doing much better job than taking generic, but this takes time, like I don't know, half an hour, 1 hour every single prop. I have more than 100, it means a lot of hours that I don't spend on it, you know. So this is my option for most of the objects are exactly the same. This is not open world, but I mean right now, as you can see here, is 1200 actors, and if you see the map, you see that this is really small. I mean, this is, I just will hide the vegetation, and you can see that I have like 5, maybe 15 houses, and I mean that's all the level. So I don't have a lot of things. It's not a big open world, but you have 1000 objects. So in that case, I was just planning to do something faster, and for me it's working fine. I don't have problems with the performance at the moment, and of course I can improve later, like merging a lot of objects when they're, let's say, final and they are not moving. For example, here it's easy to merging all of them. Well, this one is a bit different, but all of them, as you can see here, well, not this, but this one, this one, this one, that one, all of them are reusing the same. So I have only 3 materials for maybe 50 props, you know, and this is improving a lot with the draw calls. But at the moment it's fine. If you are planning maybe doing something with less objects or more specific, or something that you can see not so generic, probably you are better doing every single object with your UV, and you can introduce more variation, more details, and for example the UV map, because in that case all of them are reusing the UV map of the texture, so it's not specific for this one and it's kind of generic. So what I'm trying to do today is just select this one, change the material, and you have kind of variation in the level, which is the same mess, almost same textures. So all of them are the same mess. If you are going to the UV, you can say that they are exactly the same, of course. So it should be taking the same loads, because they are exactly the same with same distance, everything the same, but just change for instant, only this one. So that's why I'm trying to find a few of them and then change. For example, here I see both of them are the same, so I will just change this one here, and let me try to find how you have UV line on. I don't understand the question, but the chart is almost the same like houses, so this has a lot of decals for one single mess. So let me show you about the chart. I don't understand the question, so if you can just refresh, could be fine. You mean the seams, or I mean seams between textures? So this is my blueprint. I'm just reopening this. So this is chart that you have a lot of well, the bell, this small ball, this is one blueprint, but most of them are just decals. So you can see that all the details are decals for example here the dirt here, as you see the top. So there, everything that you see is just the decals. You are just doing exactly the same here and hiding all the decals. You can see that the mesh is quite simple, not much detail, but if you show the decals, you see all the dirty variation and everything like that. Let's check about the mesh. Where I have this mesh, static mesh. So just opening the mesh with no decals, of course, you can see that there are a lot of materials and most of them are exactly the same. So you have here stones, then stone white with this wall space, plaster grey stone is wall space, and this is wood stem just for the size of them, and for example all of them stone stem. So all of them are generic tileable textures, so you have kind of good resolution for don't care about how big it is. All the doors are of course objects, so you are just managing to open closing, so you don't have here doors, but the rest of the thing are exactly the same. So this one or that one, that's the roof. You have also roof and 5 just to change the resolution for them for the right size. So I'm using all of them are also generic textures, and the only one is for example here about more specific about the floor, which is not finished, so it's just something that I was just reusing here until I have a better one. I was doing of course kind of specific texture for the windows, it's just not something generic that you can reuse, and I have also here for example 3 other one which is also being adjusted to the right size of this window. But for example here on the row you have generic, this one is also generic, so all of them are just generic but just reusing the size according to the to the charge. So there is no UV margin between them. All of them are, this is one, let's say this is one island on the UV, so the UV is just cutting here, but you cannot see this one or that one also. Yes sir. I will just remove the trees that you know that are just bad, and just to see the rest of the things. So most of them here, as you can see, is just being the decal. So this is decal, you have 2 or 3 decals here. As you can check also about the quadrant row, you see that all the decals are being painted a few times, so that's why you have more complex. But if you change to shader complexity, as you can see most of them is just green. The only thing is, for example, the terrain, because you have a few of texture of the terrain, so it's fine. You have more here because they are just translucent here for mask, so that's why you have something more red. But the rest of them are just green with decals that are painted 2 or 3 times. Because as you can see, for example, the material here, we are checking this one, which is an instance from this. That's the parent. As you can see, it's just taking the parameter for the size that you want to paint this one, and then texting the coordinates. So as you can see, this is not complex at all, you know. So the shaders are really not complex, are so simple with just 2 nodes and then painting and nothing specific here like surface open default. So all the generic textures with generic shaders are so simple with just 2 nodes. So this is the base for all of them, so it's just nothing complex. But the thing is, for example, this chart has like maybe 10 or 12 materials, so it means 12 draw calls. But yeah, it's something big, so you are not expecting to have only one and good resolution for all the textures and everything. So yeah, there's not much. The only thing that you can see more is, of course, is about the grass and also all the trees. This is fine, but since you are checking about the all the objects that we are just talking about, that they have reusing materials and shaders, you can see that the shaders are really simple. So all of them are just green. They have 2 nodes, nothing so complex. Some of them are a bit more complex, for example with this world space that I have already a few nodes more, but yeah, it's really nothing complex. Yeah, that's the thing. I have just a laptop because I'm just moving, traveling quite often, so for me it's just have this one, and I don't have any job right now, so I cannot have a better computer. So my GPU is integrated on the motherboard. It's not working very well, but well, it's just working. Well, if you don't believe this, let me show you this system. What's the system here? Oops. No. What's this? I don't remember. System. Uh, 8 GB, and what is the computer? There's information about the computer. I don't remember what is this. Well, anyway, you can see that I have already, yeah, 8 GB here, which is quite often like that. That's my computer, and this hard drive. I have also problem with the hard drive all the time. This is so slow. Yeah, doing things like that takes a bit of results, but anyways, it's working fine. That's why I have my this is not real time, of course. It's not real time, and this is just 15 frames per second also, which is working more or less fine. OBS is also not helping, so sometimes really laggy, but well, for some time I didn't even streaming because it's going so slow for me, but I need to choose between streaming or I don't know, working along, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I create everything that you see. I'm working along. I don't have any budget, so all the props, houses, even the vegetation, trees, grass, the flowers, well, everything that you see, all the code, the user interface, music. I have been streaming for maybe 1 year, so you can see if you are interested on some part of them. You can probably find the streaming because I was almost streaming everything. Maybe the only thing that I was not streaming was the C++ code because it's a bit boring, and sometimes with, for example, refactoring blueprints and things like that I was not streaming, but maybe the base of the blueprints I was doing, for example, the NPCs, all the NPCs plans and everything I was doing on streaming. So if you are interested in some things specifically for example 3D modeling, or you want to see how I did, I don't know, maybe tables or things like that I did, but it's so simple. For example, these barrels or houses I was doing, I think I was doing this house, I think I was doing completely on streaming, which takes maybe 8 hours, things like that. And for example, the charts I was also doing everything on streamings, this one also on streamings, and all the interiors with the roof and everything like that. I was doing everything on streaming, so you can, for example, check this chart. You can see all the details of, for example, the benches I was doing. It's not finished, but I mean everything I was just modeling also during streaming. So for example, for houses maybe I did 2 of them, not all of them, but most of them. For the props I think I did almost all of them. I don't know, flowers I was doing also during streamings, all of them also during streamings, in case that, for example, I'm interested on vegetation. I don't remember more things I was doing, but most of them I was just doing. This house I was doing also literally on streamings. This toilet also, even with the blueprint to managing the doors opening and closing. The cards, I was doing the cards also during streamings. A few models, so you have here 3 of them I did in the same video, and there's another model I was doing another day. So this is something that I was doing. You can check, for example, on Twitter, and you see which one was which day, and you can find on YouTube channel all the videos that I have there. So you probably can find something if you are interested on something specific. I didn't check about the Fallout, how are they doing, but yeah, this kind of iteration over them. So working, yeah. Let me just open this here. Well, for my rocks, I'm also using exactly the same, so there is no scenes between them. Fiction, I did already a demo just for some people on Discord. They were just trying like 1 month ago with some small mission that you can check, and also the performance and everything. And after a month, I was also fixing a few problems that they have with the demo, and just fixing and releasing again this demo. So yeah, I did already, but not planning to do any crowdfunding. I have like 50 followers, so it means nothing. You know, there's no reason for that. Let me check those links that you are passing. Yeah, for example, here, as you see, this is the one that you are passing. So here can see that the UV, because they are just matching the UV with the stone. But in my case, for example, for the stones here, well, it's just vegetation, so I was just painting with instance and everything. But you can find this stone here, environment, and then rocks, foliage. Yeah, that's the type of them, and just trying to find this rock. I did also the rocks during streaming, I think. I'm not sure about this. So in that case, for example, if you check about the UV, you can see that I have a few island. That's fine. But the thing I'm using material for, let me find. So I'm using material which is using world space. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I will just try to put here a rock. Let me see. I have here, for example, this one, and we'll add just material, just generic something. Well, no, this one. Do I have rock something? I think it's granite. No. Okay, what I have is just a blueprint for rocks. So let me find this. Environment, and should be here rock. Rock BP. So with this one, I can just change, for example, here like the type is 3 or maybe 1, and then I can change different one. Just parameters, you know. And if I'm just trying this one and that's rotating, as you can see, it's just world space. As you see, it's just changing. You know, and changing, for example, here you see, but you cannot see any seamless because there is not. It's just world space. Even I have island on my UV, but you cannot see any of these seams because it's just world space. So you know, it's just fine. So I have all the rocks like that, and I don't care about where they are or even the size. So I can just change the size and nothing happens. Even it's world space, so even being so big like that, you always have enough resolution. Of course, it's too much, but I mean, it's the same resolution, and I can change also, for example, the scale here for something like that, and yeah, that's fine. So I don't have any problem with the seams for that. I don't have any budget, so I'm not planning to do anything. I'm just doing my thing at the moment. I was using views for the characters, just kind of placeholders. I'm using Make Some Animation, so I was also doing all the animation, merging between them and so on. But it's just kind of just placeholder because I don't really like them, and for example the clothes are not fine. But anyway, I'm just progressing and trying to work on it and then reuse them. So well, I create this material, so this is my this is a blueprint, and you see here with all these things that they just passing parameters to the material that I have, that is material instance. So there is this is my material and my textures that I was taking from textures.com. Yeah, so that's the rock blueprint that I'm using, but for the foliage I'm using one of them just by default. So let me close a few things. Yeah, so, and also I was introducing a few of dirt here on the texture. So if I can find this, is foliage environment, and this is foliage, and this is the material. So yeah, I was just introducing dirt with alpha merge, and also wall line textures with the normal and the material, and of course all of them are parameters, so you are just passing parameters for different of them. So you have like a dirt, and you have different color variation about the dirt. So I don't have any rock saying the same, because it's just changing. Even saying the same rock, you have different dirts in different places and different size as per instance. So I'm using here this per instance random to change a few things there. So I don't think that you have this material in your library. You will have something like that because it's really easy, or maybe you did yours. I was probably doing during streaming also, so that you can just copy this one. There's nothing that I was inventing. I mean, it's saying that you have seen a few times. So yeah, you can redefine a few things, and I was just introducing this kind of dirt to be not exactly the same all the time. So just introducing even more variation. Well, I need to delete this. Let me just delete this. Select, and what's this? Let's select, no. Okay. And I think it's even more that one. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah. Picture, the only thing that I was doing is just creating a pattern page. People can help me with, for example, I was doing all the vegetation and rocks and everything. I would like to use, for example, this Wixel Megascan to use more textures for the floor, because I have on the ground, I have like 3 textures that I have found on internet, so it's not really good, and I would like to reuse them to have more. And also using this P3, because I was using 3it, which is more or less fine because it's for free, but you need to work a lot on Blender to fix it later with duplicate vertices and also normal of the faces and a few things. And in the end, I don't really like much, so they are not so nice. And yeah, I'm planning to change also all the tricks when I have access to this speed tree for Unreal Engine, but it costs like 59. With this small, well, the mountains. I mean, yeah, that's a map that I was just creating. So this is just panoramic here. So as you can see, I was just creating 3D 360 degrees picture. I was just retouching a bit and then just creating a cylinder that I reuse in this one, this 4 key, and adding of course just the fog there, so you can see that's just picture, yeah, which is really cheap about performance and works very well. So as you can see, that's fine. I was just taking one picture from internet, planning to do maybe something nicer with, I don't know, maybe snow or things like that, all around something nicer, but at the moment it's working fine. So I was using as placeholder and the system is working. So that's the only thing I need to change is just the picture, and everything will work. So that's fine. Because it's not open world. I mean, you can go at any place that you want, just walking around, it's fine. But it's not open world. Even I was just planning to do a kind of teleport or fast travel between towns, because there are a few towns and castles. If I can do what for test? Play, or what to do for testing? Copy this cube map. This is not a cube map, this is just a cylinder. This is just a cylinder around. So let me show. You mean having two planes of them? This is one cylinder. If you see, for example, lightning only, you see that this is just cylinder. Of course, it's masked, so you can see the mountains. Well, let me go to the top. So this is the one that I have. Let's say duplicate this one. Ctrl W, and then I will change the scale to 300, let's say. So we have something smaller here. Okay. The sleep. I will rotate, just not too much with this. So something like that, and scaling to bigger, smaller. What do you mean? 200. I don't get it. So this is something smaller as you want. I can of course rotate this. So just what is my here? So I can just, let's say, rotate. Okay, bigger. Yeah, that's fine. 500. So this is just bigger. I'm going on the second one, and we can even do 600 for example, and just rotate. As you can see, you have two levels of them. So let's hide this to see where it is. You have two levels right now, so I can just hide this, and you see this is second level, and I can even maybe go down a bit to be minus 5000. Oh no, oh, sorry. What I need to do is, come on. What means your default mountains, and so what so this is my second level, which is bigger than the one that I have. Okay. And what more do I need to do? So and we can rotate even 0 to have something different. So you have kind of two levels of mountains right now, which is maybe too much, but I mean, yeah, Yeah, probably I need to create a few levels with different mountains with different distance, and also I could just maybe adjust a bit, because you know when you are well, this the safety complexity is really simple, because it's just one single cylinder with one single texture, and uh, there is no normal map. And for example, of course, this one has no shader, you know, so it's not casting shadows. So it's just nothing. I mean, if you want to check about the performance of this this shader, well, in that case, because it's just big, taking 2 times painting over that, which is just easy to just cut this one being smaller, or I can even create something closer with my cylinder, introducing a few more um, triangles, which is not a big problem, you know. The same that you are doing with, for example, with the vegetation, that you are cutting to be closer to the shape of this one. In that case, this is the mountains. I could just create something smaller, but I was just using a cylinder, something faster, you know. But so the complexity of the shader is just one. This is just painting one, and also the texture is really easy. It's just one single texture without not even shadows. So there is nothing really expensive rendering these mountains. Even it's helping because, as you see, having here, for example, uh, the fog means this is painting, this is diffuse already, base color, so you are not painting further the for example the fog in that case, or any other effect. So it's just like ending here, being one single kind of 2D picture, and that's all. So it's not really expensive. And the opposite one, just cutting the distance for this one. The only thing is, of course, you cannot have like so big world, and this is not a problem because it's not open world. I'm just trying to do this town, and closing around with those mountains is working fine, and performance is also fine. So yeah, at the moment it's just fine, but of course I would like to have something nicer, more according probably to this place with the vegetation and everything. But just as finding this picture from internet was fine, and it's just filling the rest of the level, you know, the world, but it should be something nicer. But yeah, I can just create 2 or 3 levels of this those mountains, also with the cylinder. In that case, it's really just one single um, it's, uh, it's just one single mess with wireframe. As you can see, it's really nothing. It takes 64 triangles, so of course I can just make much more complex with this just surface that I'm using. It's just kind of testing. As you can see, 64 triangles means nothing. So yeah, cost nothing, and also the performance is fine. I don't know what I did here. I'm trying to close a few things. No, I didn't change anything. So yeah, it's not a problem with this. At the moment, there are much more things complex. Like, as I say, for example, only this one, which is small, but has probably, of course, 200, which is 5 times more triangles than this mountain. And also it takes 2 materials, and the mountains take only 1 material. So this one is kind of 2 times complex, 2 times more complex for the shader, and 5 times more expensive out triangles. That's single mess, you know. So I don't think that this is really something expensive. And as you say, I can create 2 or 3 levels of them, you know, to have more different distance, different colors, and everything like that. Even reusing and maybe introducing kind of parameter to be more in the distance, should be more bluish, because that's going with the eye. That's why you see always far mountains, you see all them bit blue, just about the distance, about the light. So yeah, I can just create different levels, and then adding a few color about the distance of the camera, for example, with the color of the, just adding a few variations. Yeah, it's a good idea. At the moment I'm just not taking time on it, but of course it's just something that is pending, and I should just take care about this in the future. And also it's good to have, because it's the maximum distance, for example, uh, for the fog, that is the maximum distance you need to cover, and for example also about the cool distance and things like that. So that's good to have like a limit that you can be safe, that's nothing after that is being painted, you know. So that's good to have. This is the maximum distance for everything that you need to render. Everything should be inside of this one, which is good. So it's helping out performance. That's fine. So you can see here. Anyway, you are always painting this one. This is the sky sphere that you have around. And of course, the panoramic is a bit smaller than this sky sphere being inside. And you have also the skylight that is applying on this. But as I say, this is really simple shader. You don't have any shadows, no collision, no shadows, and things like that. So yeah, it's not really expensive. It's just decoration on the in the end. It's just fine. I'm pretty sure that any single decals here, for example, being this translucent and checking every single pixel and merging with the one that you have in the level is much more complex than just one picture there, without even normal, or you don't need to calculate any light. It's simple. I understand that not all the levels or all the games could do that, you know. Or for example, as you say, like it's real open world, you need to create real mountains there. But in my case, it's just a picture and works well. No problem about performance. I just playing. Okay, is it going to play? Okay, looks fine. It's even worse that the trees just popping all the time with different loads. Because I'm just planning to change the trees, but I mean, it's just good for the mountains. It's not having any problem or doing not nice. So you can see mountains are fine. And in case that you are thinking, for example, about the world cycle of the day, because as you know it's 24 hours. So I can just change the time of the day to see how it's going. So let's say 6 in the morning or 5, or you can even see during the night, which is working pretty well. So you can see the mountains, and you can go 6 in the morning, 7, 8, 9. You can even have here sound. You can try. Let me see what's the time coming. You can see things like that, you know, which is working fine. You have here all the reflection for this is just having wet here. And if you increase this one, should be disappearing all the reflection. So if I put here 7 or 8, you see that it's not reflecting anymore because you don't have here the light. Well, what should be expecting to be at night, that you can see the mountains, or I mean having a few lights there, or what's supposed to be at this time. I really didn't check about how do you see mountains in the distance. during night. Of course I could just change this cylinder with the real mountains, even low poly for all of them, and that case should be working a bit better. And for example about the normal or lining, because it's just being a picture, you don't have any information about the lining, but I think it's more or less fine being so cheap and working more or less fine. Of course just being a low poly model should be working even better, but then in that case you have some cost, you know. Then you have a few more trees and then the normal map, and you need to check also about the shadows. Let me try to open this. Well, in that case, you are just passing this picture. You can see that you have a lot of clouds here, but there is no clouds, and also at this time is still not completely black. So try to find something. I didn't check, being honest. Try to find something that is completely night to see what is happening. Also, you have a lot of lights here. That of course on medieval times you don't have any light, so it should be completely dark. Even of course I was just checking a bit, changing a bit that you can, or of course just play a bit during night, not being completely night. But as you can see a bit, but yeah, this is completely night, and it will be a torch if this is working. Yes. So it's supposed to be that during the game you will have a torch, you can walk around having a bit of light during night. But without this should be completely black. And also the idea is that during the night you are not playing, so it should be sleeping or resting. So I'm not planning to be a lot of gameplay during night. But you have this torch, and for example in case that you are maybe in the castle, probably you have a few lightnings or torches around, so you can walk a bit. But at the moment there is no plan to be playing during night, so that's just what I'm doing. Could be, as you say, a bit bluish from this picture, but this picture is not the end of the day, so I can do that the same, like at this time or even here. As you can see, it's a bit dark, but you see also the mountains still, so it's fine. You have some light, or even more before this is complete. This is already night. So yeah, you can see when you are going to be night, it's just completely dark. So they are not having even normal map, so that's why. So during almost night you still can see the mountains here, but if you go to night, this is just completely black, as everything. I mean, you can see all the houses and everything, even the trees, everything is just black, cutting from this sky sphere. So yeah, that's how it's working now. And yeah. Well, I could just increase the, for example, the fog for the distance, so it's just simulating this cloudy. But as the game during the day is not cloudy at all, I mean, of this to have some details, but not very cloudy, so you're not expecting to be completely cloudy during night. So just keeping yeah, being for example with the snow should be, yeah, you can see a bit more. But you see, for example, I do the same with the houses here that you see during the night. You can see also the houses, can you see? So this white one have a specular a bit higher, so you can see the houses that are black, white, you can see during the night, but the black things you can't. So that's why you have here all those black, white things, or for example this one, which is white, you can see. So in case that I'm just painting white also for the mountains, I supposed to be or expecting to see them. And I could also put some kind of specular on snow, so in that case I will see this white part during the night. Yeah, that's true. At the moment there is no snow, so not expecting to be. But for example, all those white things, I could just create maybe a specular map for the shader, and we'll see if you can see them during the night. Probably you can. But anyway, I need to change this picture to something, I don't know, more specific for this area, and maybe something nice, as you say, with more different mountains and not something so generic like this. But at the moment it's working fine, so I'm just keeping it. Yeah. So what I was planning to do, I didn't do. It's fine. Let's change another one here, and we have already, so this one also. This is the same box, so I will change this. And also here variations, for example this one, this one be let me check. Yes, this is too cloudy, and you have, yeah, but I think that they are using real mountains for this project. I don't remember. I think they are using a real mesh for the mountains, low poly of course, but I think they are using real mesh, some of them, and the last one is probably the picture. I'm not sure. I think I checked this one, but I don't remember if they are using like a few meshes here and then just one picture in the end to cover everything, which is also another option, just to having here a few mountains in the distance and just a picture there. So this one, for example, will have here, as you see, when the light is coming from this one, will be more light here and less here with a bit of shadows. Of course, in my case, you don't have any shadows from any point because it's just picture and not a real one. So this is some good thing and bad things. The bad things are you don't have any shadows on the real mountains that you should have depending on the time of the day, because it's just one picture. But in that case that you are using, for example here, like low poly mountains for this, you will have different illumination from both parts depending on the time of the day, you know. So this is much better and should be in the end being done with just mountains. But at the moment, just one picture works, not perfect, but it's fast, good about performance, and yeah, because you are not planning to go there, so it's just one picture. But that's true. Having a real mountain, you will have different illumination. Being one picture, of course, you can't, and it's not even changing during the day. That should be, for example, here more light when the sun is on this side, as you see. For example, here, just checking for this small part. If I do 8 in the morning, should be a lot of light here, but it's nothing. And if I do in the evening, should have much less, but it's also not. So it's just being completely ignored. You don't have different lighting because it's just one picture. But should be, I mean, should be. It's just having two sides of this mountain, but this is not working because it's just one picture. You see? So yeah, so it's not working as expected because it's not a real mountain. But I can just check them, and even I think that they have another demo. They're already providing a few mountains that you can reuse. I don't remember it's one with which one? The one flying probably. So you can reuse the mountains in your project. but yeah, it's fine. Any project can just create a few mountains or even create mountains from well, things like that. For example, instead of emissive, I could use the specular map also, or emissive for some parts that should be, for example, like snow or white parts of that. So yeah, let me check about this material. You have mask, of course, surface, which is nothing complex. Default late, because I'm doing unlate, probably I'm losing the picture. So let's see what's happening here. Yeah, this is just nothing. And I will need also to say emissive, but to be emissive color I should have this. It's just plain, I mean. And what about this? Yeah, that's the same. There is not more about this. If we change about the time of the day, yeah, it's not going well, because even during the night probably it's just lining, as you can see. It's completely lining. Of course I can just do less emissive. Of course, let's try this. I'll just put the number here, like multiply 0.5, and then this is going to emissive. So it's not so strong, but anyway, should be even less. Well, yeah, things like that you say. Yeah. So this is during the night. This is completely nothing. And 2, 3, 5. You can see already. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still too much probably, but yeah, that's the idea, that during the night you can see a bit about the mountains in case that they're a bit far, especially if you have snow, which is not snow, I mean this is just sand or stones that are just taking this color, but it could be. That's kind of matter of parameters which one to reuse. So you could see the mountains in front during the night. Even when the town is just dark, you could see the white part, because for example here you have mountains, you have nothing white, so you cannot see anything on this surface. Even being emissive, you see nothing. The only thing is just here the one that you have is white. In that case that you are passing, all of them are completely white, so this is working well. But it's also about the picture. So in that case the picture is just not working the same. And during the day that's fine, so there's not emissive is not doing anything, and this unlit is just almost the same. So there's not big difference. It's just, in the end it's just one single plane with one single picture, so there's not a lot that you can really solve or fix with these small things on textures. I just change into lit, and This is working also the emissive with default date. Yeah, as I did, this is true. Yeah, I think that maybe you have some delay while the chat. I don't know. You can check on the video how many seconds you have delay for that. So this is working as usual. If we are going to night, you see that it's a bit lightning. Probably only until some hour, and after that it's just completely dark. I think it's improving. This is better than as it was. If I'm doing a bit of emissive during the time that it's dark, you can see them. Maybe it's too much, but I mean it's helping. So I would just, it's matter of changing the real value for this constant to have something nice during the whole day. Okay. Let's save a lot of changes. Come on. Okay. Okay, finally. So yeah, just changing the value should be helping to have the right one. Yeah, I like more too. So this is just improving with this small change, like emissive is just helping during the time that's a bit dark. And you should see the mountains a bit, well, the part that I have white, but anyway. Also there you see in the distance bit. For example, here you see also more lining. Probably also this one. So yeah, that's helping during the time until it's completely dark. You see with part of the mountains, which is more realistic. But I will think also about using real mountains, or as you say, a couple of them or 3 of them with different levels, or something in the middle, like closest mountains are real mesh 3D and far mountains are just this just plain. So all together should be working fine. So let's check more things that we can change here. I think we have already some houses that have some furniture. I think this is a bench. Yeah, in that case we cannot change this. For example, this one we can change. I'm not changing. This is also bench we cannot change, and this is also a blueprint. So Okay, have a nice day. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Thank you for your help, because it's just helping with this panoramic is much better now. So thank you. See you. Bye bye. And and this is also blueprint. Mm. Mhm. Um, we can even change the cards completely. As you see, but it's a bit dark probably, so I don't like this. But yeah, we can change, for example, this one. Just to have a few more variations for exactly the same things. Let's check another area to see. We have here not much things. Mhm. I think we don't have this one. What is this cut one? Yeah, we have here. Let's just skip this as it is. Looks okay. But I don't like much this. I was just doing maybe yesterday, I don't like this, so I will just delete. Let's check about some furniture inside, so we can maybe add more of them. So this house already. So let me see. This house. Have a few of them, but let's say yes, it is. This also has one, and I think here we have already. So next house, this one has also some furniture here. This one is empty completely, so we can just put a few things here. I think we'll go to unlit to be easier. This is furniture. What I need to do is interiors here. This is for storage, but I will do this one. I'm not sure which one should be the one that I need to align. Okay. Seems that I did well. Just that. They're just matching. Okay. And I will also objects that are interactive. So in that case, for example, I will add chest here, so the player can interact with this. You see? That's strange. So what's the... Okay. So is it aligned? Yeah, probably it is. I will add something here, like for example, I don't know, onions, 3 of them, and 1 bread. So if we play just right now, we can see that you have objects there. Why is this one empty? Oh, sorry. Allow it items here, sorry. Okay, that's what this. Onion 3 and just seed onion 2. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, you have some objects here that the player could just take. No space. Okay. I need to wait the light, that's why this is kind of dynamic, and you can see that it's not the same lighting. Well, I will just take not this one. That's hard to see if they're being aligned or not, to be honest. Oops. And props, I will add something much smaller. I don't think we'll have not a lot of space there. If you have any question or want to see something about the game or the level, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm just working on props and filling things. What is this so big? Probably is too much. We need to leave space for the window, so we cannot put things, for example, here. And even I would like to check. Sometimes I was just adding a few furniture, and I see later that it's just colliding with the window. Well, we have a lot of space, yes, so that's not the problem. I don't know what is this light, but I will check later. I will add also more shelves here. I'm not sure what was the problem is about the house. Maybe it's not being aligned, or I really don't know what the problem is. Usually I have all of them aligned, so it's easy to align houses. That's fine. Houses and furniture and everything. Sometimes, so that's fine. And or maybe this is too much. Yeah, it's too much. I will delete this. We need to leave the space for interact with this one and also with the window, so we can add a few things more, but not too much. We are not completely blocking the player. Yeah, more or less fine. We don't need also a lot of them. Here what we need to do is just, because I'm planning to have in the middle just fire, so what we need to do is just adding, for example, the bed, but the bed is also something that need to be interactive, so that's why I'm adding the bed that the player can even sleep on it. So there are a few of them are just static messes, and some of them are interactive, even reusing the same static messes, but I mean they are blueprints already. So for example, this one is a blueprint. Okay, start colliding a bit. And for example, here I can add another chest, even with different model. So no. And this to be clear. Okay. So here, for example, this chest that you can just store things there. What we need also is a table, probably. So the tables. And I will just change the texture to have something different colors. Of course, there are not a lot of furniture here, or not expecting to be plenty of things. And the benches that I need are just this, for example, small things. This one also. So the files should be here. You have here a table and serves all around. Okay, this is colliding. No. What more will we need here? Benches, and that's the same. So we need to use benches that the player can use. So they are just blueprints. Let me see what is the orientation. 75. Okay. Aligning a bit. Some props. This is a bit big. Okay, so that's the fire here, and I will add another bench. Different model. Well, when I have the fire here, I will just adjust properly where it needs to be. I will put another table. Is it too much? No. That's weak. Okay. Is the bench? Yes. Okay, so have a few furniture here, just to be sure. Let's walk. Yeah, sometimes you are just being blocked with some objects. That's fine. You can interact here. Oops. Also here, interacting. Not this. This one. This one is just not paying well since jumping, so this one I will move, I don't know, a bit here, but I'm not sure that I will delete. When I have the fire, I will just try to adjust the things here. Another cells here, big one. We can try to add, for example, something small here. Hi Vesmoin, thank you. For some reason there is no notification about your following. Sorry for that. Usually I have bot with picture and sound and everything, but I don't know, it's not working. Yoo-hoo! Here you are, your zombie. Okay. Maybe something also small here. If you have any question or are new here, you want to see any other part of the game, the level or everything, just let me know. I'm just completing the houses, so just you want to see any other thing, just tell me. Okay, let's try to walk. Hello. So that's fine. What we need to do is adjusting also the sides that you can just use the benches. Everything is fine here. You can do the window. Yes. So what we need is just adjusting. For example, here you cannot sit on this way, and only one. So this is blocking this. That's fine. And this is the opposite one, so you cannot block this. That's fine. Okay. So this house is also with furniture. You have this. Do I have this? Yes. Let's change this one to something nicer. So table. Oops. Okay. Yeah, we'll create something like that. But yeah, in that case we need to move this to be out. And also this one. Okay. Now we can change this. And then this one will be well, let's see what I have of those things that I'm not paying in use. So I don't need this. Okay, and this one also. So for some reason I was using, I don't know, more materials. Probably I was just creating lots and it was just taking. Yes. Let's close things because we don't have much RAM. Can I change this? No, probably not. Well, I could just change here. I think, yes. So in that case I need to change also the door. Which is just inherit. Yeah, exactly. So just create, because I have a few of them even being combined on different blueprints, so in that case it's not so easy to change the model, which is fine. Oh, what we forgot about is, well, this one is fine, but this one, for example, you have nothing outside. Well, in that case it's just messing walking here, so I'm not planning to put here things. But what about the another side? Yes, probably no. right there. You don't have much space. So yeah. I was just thinking just to put here maybe a bench. People can just sit outside. But thinking about that the cars are just pass across in this area, since there is not a lot of space, if I'm just putting here will be not so realistic that you have much space. In that case, for example, you have it more. Of course this one is already a lot of space here, so that's fine. Or for example this one is also well, but the other one is so small and not much space. I could just try to put here. Do I have this already? I deleted it in the past. What about this one? Is this too big? Yeah, probably it's too big. Okay. And we can put this and then rotate object, yes. And just move it. And we can also add a few of them, those things smaller. And I will add also a new one, but smaller. So with this one I will change the scale. But not this. This is breaking the texture. I think we just do something not so big. Yoo-hoo! Thank you, Will Casting. Thank you for the follow. Let me know if you have any questions. This is the first time that you are coming here, you want to know more. You can check all the links, you know, but in case that you want to see already, that's the reason to be streaming, that people can interact and not just checking website. And I will add a table. what about the model, which is yeah. Come on. Sorry. Okay, I forgot, this is my mistake because I need to move this outside. So all of them need to be moved to this level, because I have for all of them are level streaming. So for example, this one for the interiors I can just load later and use the also level streaming when you are far from any house, or for example the town you are just living. It's just removing this layer, so that's why I'm trying to put every single thing in one different layers, and you can just manage easier later. So everything that is outside needs to be, and also for example with the cool distance. So okay. Wait. 4. So we can try another house, small one, because the big one is a lot of rooms. But for example, this one is a small one, so we can try to just complete with a few furniture here. For that, I'm not sure if I will also use the fire in the middle, but at the moment I will just change again to interiors, and I will just put a few furniture inside. I think it's, for example, there are a lot of doors and windows, so I need to keep all of them clean. For example, here I cannot put any shelves because it's just opening or closing, it's just fighting. For example, here there's nothing with doors that you can just reuse, so then just putting in the middle benches. Also we need the bed, so we have like 2 rooms, so one of them will be just for storage, and the other one is just the one that we use for the bed. And also, as in the past, I will use blueprints that are interactive for the bed and cupboard, things like that. Oops. That's colliding. Whoop. Is it too big? There's one more. But this is enough or not? Well, I could just no, I think it's here. Yeah. And we should have also cupboard, also interactive. Okay. Some props. Here. This is small enough. It is. What about this? Oops. Just check from the top because I'm not sure this is fine or no. Yeah, it's fine. Yes. No. Okay. What more we need is just, for example, here we need to add bench, so the player can be sitting here. Another interactive object. This is it. And we can add props here, but we need to be something small, otherwise we don't have enough space. So this one need to be much smaller. Oops. I need to close this. That's fine. Okay. And then the storage here. For the storage I will use also the chest. It's just a bolt. Oops. Some shelves here. Big one. Oops. That's the only one that I need. And we can put some storage here in this side. just a few props like this. I will change also this material and something smaller like this. This is already messing a bit with this, but that's fine. And from this the button we could try something like, no, not this one. This is too much already. Otherwise you cannot interact with the window. And well, I would like to have also a big one, but we don't have enough space already. Let's move a bit and add this one here. What we need is just the word now. Word line and still not enough. I think this. Let's check this house if we can just walk inside, interact with the windows, doors, and benches, everything. And nothing's colliding. For example, here is fine, I know, but it's just right size. This is also fine, you can interact with this. Okay, door. Oh, yeah, here I cannot pass this one, so this one is messing. Here, this door should be working fine. And what about this? Everything's working. What about this window? It's also fine. This is bed. So yeah, everything works except this one. This is too big, and this is just blocking passing to this room. So I will just delete this, and I will try to add something here that is smaller and it's not really blocking the, probably this, but smaller. Maybe too much. And then just Control W. Now it's not blocking. Just in case, we will just test it. Now I can just cross. I can interact with this. Also with this one. Oops. Yes. This is working. Interact with this. Let me see. It's a bit here probably. Yeah. And what about this? Oh, it's also bad here. This one is too big, as you can see, it's just colliding with this. So we need to change also this one to something smaller, or we can just change this here. So take this and this. and move here, and this one I will move here, but I will just reduce a little bit, so that's enough for the window working. And also about this, I think it's also colliding a bit, so yeah, done. So let me check again. So if I'm right here, let me see about the window. Now it's not colliding. What about this? Maybe, but that's fine. You cannot notice this. That's fine. In case I have objects here, you can also access them. Here is not colliding with it. Anything. So, and I could even move a bit more this one inside of the of the corner. I'm not being worried about the window. It's not colliding. Okay. So we have another house. I think it's just time to leave because I have been streaming for 2 hours. I'm not sure if I will try again in the evening for people being not the same time zone as I asked, like streaming in 6 hours again. Maybe I will do, maybe not, but for sure I will do tomorrow at the same time, like 2 hours before at this time, 2 or 3 hours before. So if you want to join again tomorrow, or just follow, and you will have this notification about following when I'm going online. So I hope you enjoyed the streaming, and see you the next time. Thank you. Bye bye.